right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. At least that's what we normally bill these things. Up this time, this is actually an impressions video, a preview impressions video at that, because looking at the Steam page, Emberlight is not out yet in any capacity. It's not out in early access. I mean, I know we have the tag early access here, but um, it's it's the thing is, I'm not actually sure if it's getting released into early access or if it's getting a 1.0 release on August 13th yet. We are slated to have the developers on the program, and as part of that, we agreed to look at their game. Hence, this rarity, because Emberlight is reminding me why I don't like doing previews or doing coverage of early access if it can be helped, because Emberlight is very much that. The game had an update a couple days ago where it changed. It was a pretty major addition. Like, it added the beginning UI elements to the quest mode. Like, this game is very much in development right now, so I cannot say what will change, what will shift, what will transmogrify in the next 7 weeks, and even beyond, if this is an early access title. What I can tell you is what the game is. It is a roguelike dungeon crawler, but not your typical one of those. As in, this game's emphasis is on combat. Like, yeah, you go around a dungeon, but, the rooms are pretty static, pretty empty. If there's not an enemy or a treasure chest or something like that there. They're more the backdrop for the meat, which is combating various monsters. And this game says it's procedurally generated, but I think that's this is one of the things that we'll probably ask the devs. I think that's related to how the dungeons are constructed rather than like the overall, because there's an encyclopedia and it lays out certain room tiles, what they contain, what the monsters, what they are, and how many of there are, and what kind of mini bosses or boss encounters, or what all of that stuff laid out there. That being said, this game isn't random enough, because holy fuck, I kept encountering that mini boss wolf at the beginning of the game, like, just every time. And so here's the thing. Can't really dance around it. This whole endeavor is kind of a mess right now. And that comes down to a few okay, first of all, status effects are overpowered. Yeah, okay, the confuse, with the encounter with the wolves, every time I encountered that, the female fighter would get hit with confuse over and over again, and the wolves just target her, and I could never use her except for the one time, and that always happened. I suspect there's some AI stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And combat in general is kind of confusing. I believe this is real time, but or no, it's turn based. It's just the monsters, once again, they get 100,000 turns in between each combatant. My side. And it's I'm not sure how much attuning one has to do with these sorts of things, but these are the things that I know. I'll admit I didn't get very far in this game because it's very difficult. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's like encounters at the beginning will kick your ass and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so going deeper, aside from going through dungeons, collecting treasure, completing quests, ultimately this game is about corruption. Um, as you go through the dungeons, as you fight monsters, you are building up corruption, and that will lead you to add new attacks based on the monsters you fight. Like
Mm-hmm.
with the wolves, they'll hit you with wolf powers, like the howl and such. You know, and minotaurs, and all of the monsters you encounter will provide um, different attacks. And the ultimate goal of the game, from what I have seen, is eventually the party will become so corrupt they will fight each other, and the winner of that fight will come out as like the new boss of the dungeon or something like that. Kind of forget what the terminology was that they used. And also, mind you, other places where this game is a work in progress is the lore, the encyclopedia. I did read through it. It's got a lot of blank entries and such.
Yeah.
Um,
It sounds like an interesting idea, at least.
yeah, it's an interesting idea. It's just
Yeah.
it's very much in development,
Mm-hmm.
and I can say at this point it hasn't come together yet. But it's like I don't know how much, like how substantial the updates are going to be in the future, and and how much of an impact this very thing we're recording here is going to have. Um, Also, I'm gonna note this: the text is in Comic Sans. I don't know if that's placeholder stuff, but I'm like, it's gonna be brought up because it's like Comic Sans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, um, so it's a, you know, I still like the premise. It looks fairly well for where it is right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but beyond that, I can see this is where my frustrations with doing previews and such come in, because you know I can't say anything beyond that. Like it's like this game will change, um, and possibly change drastically in between now and the time of release. Like
Yeah.
so, um, overall impression so far, yeah, it's a good idea. It's just there needs to be a lot more refinement before I could say that this game is um, worthy of a look in terms of purchasing. But I mean, there's time to fix that. Twilight, you
Mm.
have also played this game, so
Yeah.
do you have any additional thoughts?
I don't really have anything I can add, but I can pretty well say I like what I've seen so far. It's come along fairly well, and I'm hoping to see how well it turns out.
Yeah, then. All right, so we'll probably have more on this game we will have more on this game in the future. We are doing an interview with the developers in a few weeks. At least we are planning to. It's one of those schedules can shift. Yeah, it's like slated for about 2 weeks from now, or 2 weeks from Wednesday, or something like that. It's close. It's close. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so until that time, these are our thoughts on Emberlight at this point in time. And I couldn't let's see. As far as see, I don't even have releases on like what computer platforms this is coming out, or a price. Those have not been released yet. Maybe it'll come up in the interview, um, but we'll see. Anyway, so that'll about do it for Emberlight here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as our first proper review of the evening will be Jetball Arena.